Hello, hello everyone. Today we'll be taking a look at Dondozo in the Ultra League as a closer. We're gonna build a team using Bellybolt and Corviknight, as well as Dondozo as the closer. Corviknight is our designated safe swap in this team, so in the first match we're gonna safe swap into Corviknight to respond to this Blastoise. We led Bellybolt into Florges. That was a really bad matchup. And now this matchup, I think there's a chance I can win, but I just want to spam out air cutters just so I can boost myself up a bit more, hopefully. Okay, I think this is the third air cutter. Please give me a boost. It is a 1 in 3 chance, and I'm not getting a boost. So I think they're at double Hydro Cannon. I'm gonna let this go. Hydro Cannon will not take the knockout. Second one will, so I'm gonna shield this up. And I'm going to go for another air cutter. I'm gonna farm a lot. I can't quite get the farm down. This is the only reason I'm going for the air cutter. Because otherwise, I would have banked 2 air cutters, went into the next matchup with 2 moves loaded. Back in comes the Florges, and I overfarmed a bit too much. I got a bit too greedy, so I was not able to fire off air cutter. I'm gonna bring in Dondozo here, hoping they're not on Trailblaze because the new recommended moveset is Chilling Water and Disarming Voice. So, are they on Trailblaze? No, they're not. They're on Moonblast. That's absolutely amazing. In comes a shiny Giratina, and I'm gonna fire off Outrage. Outrage will be no shielded. It does quite a lot of damage, and I'm gonna bring in Bellybolt for that fast move pressure. I am hoping I can get a 0 shield farm down here. No need to use shields, just pure fast move pressure, super effective fast move pressure, and also the bulk. But unfortunately, Giratina is able to make the last second Shadow Sneak. That gets me into the red health zone. Back in comes Florges, and I'm gonna fire off Parabolic Charge. Will it be shielded? Yes, it will. I'm gonna be able to reach another one, and this will either get them into surf range or grab their last shield. Parabolic is going to be shielded, and I switch into Dondozo. I think I am going to be able to get a surf off. I shield up the Moonblast. Moonblast call is correct, and surf. This will probably take the knockout or get them into waterfall range. So surf gets them down to around 2 HP, maybe 3 HP. Waterfall finishes the game off. Alright, going into the next match, we're going to be leading Bellybolt into Malamar. This is non-Shadow Malamar, so they do have significantly less fast move pressure. Foul Play is going to be shielded. I thought that was going to be superpower, seeing as how they're staying in, and usually Malamars would like to fire off superpowers. Parabolic Charge connects. That gets them into Parabolic Charge range, of course. And this, is it going to be a superpower? No, it's going to be Foul Play. I would have no shielded anyways, because not being super effective, Foul Play and Superpower do similar amounts of damage. Parabolic is going to be shielded, and they're going to be in Sucker Punch farm down range. Superpower, connect, it gets me low, but can I make the farm down? Yes, I can. Bellybolt hanging on with 1 HP, in comes a Fraligator, they get to 1 turn switch in, so I am able to fire off Parabolic. This grabs the final shield, and I'm going to switch into Dondozo here. I'm going to resist every single charge move they throw at me if they're on the usual moveset, which is going to be Hydro Cannon, Ice Beam, but they're on Crunch, so they do have something to hit my Dondozo. I'm going to be able to fire off this Outrage here. Outrage will get them into the yellow health zone, where another Outrage should probably grab the KO. I'm going to be no shielding all these moves. Crunch doesn't do a lot of damage. It gets the defense drop, which is not ideal. I can't quite reach the move, so I'm going to switch into Corviknight. Corviknight's going to want to throw this air cutter 1 turn before they get to the move. Hopefully get the boost, but my luck's been pretty bad recently. I don't know if I'm going to get the boost. I'm going to get the boost! Amazing! In the back, it's a Thinkaton. Wouldn't have mattered anyways. I would have still won the game. I have a Surf banked on my Dondozo. So, air cutter. I'm just gonna spam all these air cutters, and this shouldn't be any way my opponent can win this. Gigaton, it doesn't pick up the knockout. I still have a shield advantage, by the way. payback from this range should get them into probably surf range. So let's see. Payback. Yep, definitely in surf range. Bring back in the Dondozo. One waterfall. Big surf. Surf will pick up the knockout from this range, and that's GG. Alright, hopping into the next battle. Belly Bolt into Oinkologne, terrible lead. Safe swap into the Corviknight. Corviknight is going to be able to spam out Air Cutters. Air Cutter number 1 will get the boost. No, it will not. Opponent safe swaps into Tinkaton for some reason, which is really odd because Corviknight has a really dominant matchup against Tinkaton. Maybe there's some way they can win this matchup or something. I have no idea. Okay, I'm going to let this go. This is a Bulldoze. Bulldoze gets the debuff, unfortunately. I'm going to be able to make Air Cutter here. Air Cutter is not going to get the boost. Okay, that's absolutely fine. We're still doing a lot with that fast move pressure here, which honestly, Corviknight, you wouldn't expect to have any fast move pressure at all. Okay, so this matchup is actually great, but it's only great. It's only really dominant if you get the boost. So let's see, are we getting the boost? That's what, 5 Air Cutters now. Come on. Are we serious, game? Game, are we serious? I mean, I'm gonna have to let this go. Even though Corviknight is probably our only counter to Oinkologne in the back. I can send in Dondozo. Dondozo is going to resist Gigaton Hammers. They go for the Bulldoze. Will they get the debuff? No, they don't. That's amazing. So now we're 1 away from the move. In comes the Toucannon. I'm going to go for the Surf. Surf does have the stab. So it does have that extra efficiency there. Extra damage per energy. I'm going to be able to get to the next Surf, but I'm going to go for the Sneak. Sneak there was successful. I shield up the Beak Blast. I'm going to go for one more Waterfall and the Outrage. Will Outrage be shielded here? No, it will not. It deals huge damage. In comes Belly Bolt. Trying to get the snipe down. We don't quite get it. Toucannon's able to fire off a last second Beak Blast. Back in comes Oinkologne, and look at its low attack stat. Those Mud Slaps aren't doing a lot into my Belly Bolt. However, they do have a bit of momentum. They're able to boost themselves up with Trailblaze, which is the special thing about Oinkologne. You're really dependent on bulk, but then if you get a lot of Trailblazes off, you really start ramping up that fast move pressure, and you really put a lot of pressure onto your opponents. Here, my Dondozo, I don't even know if I'm able to reach a second Surf, because they're boosted, right? They fire off the move. I'm going to shield this, but this is probably another Trailblaze. And now they're at what, +2 now? So I don't think I'm going to be able to get them to move. And unfortunately, last second, they fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam will pick up the knockout, and that's the GG. Alright, going into the next match, we're going to be leading Belly Bolt into Zapdos. Kind of dominant matchup, I guess. They safe swap into a Hisuian Decidueye. This is a Pokemon that got buffed this season with Energy Ball, but they're not recommended to run Energy Ball anyways. So, Corviknight is going to be able to output Air Cutter, which is very, very effective. It does probably get a 2-hit KO. As you can see here, a non-boosted Air Cutter does insane amounts of damage. I will no-shield this Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere connects. I can live that pretty comfortably. Air Cutter. This will pick up the knockout, by the way. Will it connect? Yes, it will. And in comes Zapdos. I'm going to send in Belly Bolt here. This is the most obvious thing to do. I don't want them to farm me down, because if they farm me down, they're going to get a lot of energy. I tried to go for the Parabolic Charge, but unfortunately, they have the next move. Next Heat Wave. It's a CMP tie, and of course, Belly Bolt will lose CMP tie to a glassy, very attack-weighted Zapdos. Am I able to make the farm down? Yes, I am. In the back is probably a fire type, right? Oh no, they send in Decidueye here. That's absolutely fine. I'm gonna no-shield this. I'm +1, so I can probably tank this. Yes, I can. Now I'm gonna farm up a bit more. I'm gonna shield this. I have a lot of energy. I don't want to lose that energy. Okay, what is it gonna be in the back? Try to snipe with a Dondozo. Is it a fire type? No, it's not. It's a Poliwrath. which makes sense because Poliwrath actually counters their ice weakness in the front. I was expecting it to be like a Talonflame or a Typhlosion because also coverage against ice types, and Typhlosion does have Thunder Punch for ice water types like Walrein. So, Poliwrath, this isn't going to be a hard matchup at all. Outrage here is probably going to pick up Knockout if they no shield. Yes, they no shield because they know they're not going to win. I have a move banked on my Belly Button. I have 2, right? So, yeah. Okay. Next match, Belly Bolt into Walrein. They save swap into Virizion. I save swap into Corviknight to respond to that guy. Virizion. Okay, so this is one of the huge nightmares of the team. If it's in the lead, we basically lose because Belly Bolt just can't do anything into Virizion. Neither can Dondozo. The only counter is Corviknight, and Virizion, maybe there's going to be a flying counter in the back. I'm just saying. It's a double weakness, so I'm not going to be surprised if there's a flying counter in the back. We're going to spam out air cutters as always against the Virizion. We're even shields, and I'm going to farm up a bit more. In comes the Walrein. That's amazing. I'm going to send in Belly Bolt here to respond to the Walrein. This is probably just an Icicle Spear. I don't think they're at the Earthquake yet, so I'm going to no shield. I'm going to farm up a bit more. Go for the Parabolic Charge. Parabolic Charge, will it grab the shield, or will it land? It lands, it does huge damage, and now they're at the Earthquake, so I'm going to want to shield this up. Is it the Earthquake? Yes, it is. That's amazing because now I can go for a full farm down. I'm going to exit with a lot of energy here. Virizion comes back in. Go for one Sucker Punch and the Parabolic Charge. Are they going to shield this? Do they think it's a Zap Cannon? No, they do not. That is absolutely fine. I'm going to lose my Belly Bolt here, I think. Well, I was quite close to dying there. And their final mon is a Skeledirge, so this is game over for them. Dondozo is just going to absolutely wall them here. Shadow Ball, it does do quite a bit of damage. Go for one more Waterfall and a Surf. Surf will guarantee the knockout. Here, they put out the shield. That's absolutely fine. I don't think this Shadow Ball kills, right? This might get us into very low HP range. Yes, we're basically at 1 HP, 2 HP, 3 HP there. That's absolutely crazy. Dondozo Surf picks up the knockout against that. Belly Bolt into Tentacruel the next match. Very amazing matchup. They save swap into Licky Licky, and I will catch the Shadow Ball onto Corviknight. Corviknight's going to be able to tank this pretty comfortably because we are in the Ultra League, and Ultra League Pokemon are really, really bulky. Air Cutter spam here, as always. I'm trying to get the boost. Will I get it? No, I will not on the first one, but maybe on the second one, maybe third one, third time's charm. Shadow Ball, okay. It gets us into another Shadow Ball range. Payback, I'm just hoping to deal damage at this point. I don't even care if this picks up the knockout or not. I just need damage. And I'm going to let Corviknight go here. I'm going to bring in Dondozo. Dondozo does not have a lot of fast pressure, but Licky Licky does not have a way to debuff us. I'm going to no-shield this. This is just a body slam, and so I'm able to get a lot of energy here. Back in comes Tentacruel. Outrage. Will it be shielded or will it be no-shielded? It will be no-shielded. Okay, look. Tentacruel is really bulky, okay? And Dondozo is also really bulk-based. It's like 4,500 something stat product. It's high 4,000 stat product, okay? So it does not have a lot of charge move pressure here. As you can see on the right, yes, it does not say charge move pressure there, even though it's running a 110 base power move. Okay, so the last one is Skeledirge. That's absolutely fine. Belly Bolt is going to be able to handle Skeledirge really comfortably, and I'm going to shield this up. Belly Bolt will not be able to get the farm down, but what we can do is boost ourselves up with another Parabolic Charge. Parabolic Charge will be shielded, Honestly, I could have gone for the Dondozo switch catch snipe there. No need for that though. In comes a Tentacruel. Parabolic Charge, this will easily pick up the knockout, I think. If not, I can just send in Dondozo and finish the job there. Yeah, okay. That's fine, yeah. It's GG's. Wow, dream lead in the next match. Belly Bolt into Jellicent here. Both our charge moves and fast move are going to do insane amounts of damage. I'm going to shield up the first move here because I haven't boosted myself up yet. I'm going to go for 5 Sucker Punches and a Parabolic Charge in case they no shield and they die, and I still have a lot of energy. That's the most energy you can get before they throw a move. In comes a combo, oh, and I'm going to respond with Corviknight. My reaction was quite slow there. And I don't know, will that cost me this matchup? Upper hand lands, that gets a debuff, and I'm going to go for this Air Cutter. Air Cutter, will it grab the boost? Yes, it will. That is absolutely amazing. They're going to go for, you guessed it, another upper hand. This will do more damage than last time because we are debuffed. I'm going to throw this Air Cutter on, good timing. Air Cutter, will it grab the knockout? Yes, it will, but we do not have a shield advantage here. Talonflame comes in. I'm going to go for the straight payback. I almost reach it, but my opponent goes for the move. They're wasting their energy. Now they're at 10 energy. I have a move on my Belly Bolt banked. I'm going to send in Dondozo, hoping for the, well, Surf. But I'm going to overfarm. I'm going to go for the Sneak, and I get the Sneak. Brave Bird does huge damage, but in the back is Jellicent. I'm going to send in my Belly Bolt instantly. Parabolic Charge, get shielded, boost myself up. That was a CMP tie that I won, which is insane. I did not expect Belly Bolt to win a CMP tie into Jellicent. Okay, so they're able to reach the next move. So what? I have a lot of energy on my Dondozo now. Dondozo, I'm going to farm up. Now I'm 1 away from the next Surf after firing off this Surf. And whoo, Talonflame still needs 3 Incinerates to get to the move, and I easily outpace. Go for the Outrage, big boy Outrage, easy knockout there, and that's GG. Alright, going into the next match, we're going to be leading Belly Bolt into Fortress. Now, Fortress is able to output super effective damage with Sand Tomb, but Sand Tomb does not do a lot of damage here. Sand Tomb is kind of like Power Punch. You use it to get more damage output from your fast attacks, but you don't really use it to deal damage here. So, despite it being super effective, as you can see, I still have quite a lot of health remaining, and I can reach the next Parabolic Charge before they do. And Parabolic Charge is going to pressure a shield or pick up the knockout. Here, it's going to pick up the knockout, and my opponent's going to be able to get some farm if I stay in here. I decide to stay in. It's an Oranguru. They're going to try to go for the farm, but I know that I can reach the move. Parabolic Charge, it will do some chip damage. Not a lot, but these Sucker Punches, man, they are adding up. I'm going to send in Corviknight. Corviknight is going to be able to resist Trailblaze and Confusion from this Oranguru, but we're going to take some damage from Brutal Swing. In comes the Licky Licky, and I send in Dondozo. Dondozo can absorb these Shadow Balls pretty comfortably. Shadow Ball number 1 is going to get us down to around the third of our max HP, which surprisingly little for a 100 base power move. Going straight for that Outrage here. Outrage does quite a bit of damage, gets them into around a half of their max HP, and they're able to fire off another move. Shadow Ball will land, and Dondozo is now down to around a third of its max HP. I'm going to shield this up because I might die if it's a Shadow Ball. It's not a Shadow Ball. In comes Oranguru, and I send in Corviknight. Corviknight here is going to be able to get some farm off of this Oranguru because Brutal Swings just don't do that much here. It's Ultra League, and Corviknight is absolutely bulky as hell. So we're able to tank those Brutal Swings very comfortably. They're able to fire off another one here, but I'm going to no shield. I know I can survive this. So, Corviknight is going to tank the move. They know they're going to get farmed down, so my opponent just quits. because now, after that farm down, I have 2 air cutters loaded, and actually an air cutter and a payback. So I can really pressure them hard, and my opponent knows that, so they resign. I guess kind of. They just quit the game. Alright. Terrible lead in the next match. Belly Bolt into A slash, and I'm going to switch into Corvi. Corviknight is going to be able to output super effective sand attack damage. My opponent's going to be able to fire off an Ice Punch there and dip into Kingdra. Kingdra does not have a positive matchup into Corviknight whatsoever, so I wonder if they're also weak to Corviknight in the back, if Kingdra's their best response. I'm able to boost myself up with that air cutter, and now I'm going to be able to output some real damage with sand attacks. I know shield the Surf connects, but that's absolutely fine. I go for air cutter here. Air cutter will do some significant damage onto the Kingdra. Is it in farm down range? Not quite, and I'm going to shield this up. I want to commit to the full sand attack down and exit with probably a payback worth of energy. Oh, not quite, but I still have an air cutter that's able to pressure, and I get to the payback. My opponent does not get the farm down, and here payback, it will connect, does big damage, and I'm going to send in Dondozo. Dondozo is actually quite dominant in this matchup because we are able to resist Ice Punches and also Powder Snows, but they are on Shadow Claw, which means they can output some more fast move pressure than usual. In comes the Virizion, and I'm going to send in Belly Bolt. This is because Belly Bolt does have a better matchup into Virizion than Dondozo, so I would rather have my Belly Bolt into the Virizion than my Dondozo, which is also quite low at this point. So they're able to fire off that move. I'm gonna go for a Parabolic Charge. Parabolic Charge will do only a slight amount of damage. It's not gonna do much, it's resistant, and as you can see, Virizion tanks that very, very comfortably. They are able to fire off another move here, and this will get us very, very low. I'm going to farm up to the Zap Cannon. They switch into Zan Slash. Okay, so they were trying to catch that move, I'm guessing. Now, I'm going to send in Dondozo. I'm going to resist basically everything except for the drill run, so I'm forcing them to throw drill runs. In comes the Virizion. They're able to knock out this Dondozo, and unfortunately, that is a game loss. I'm able to throw this Outrage, but that's not going to do much. They still have a shield, and the only thing I can hope for is maybe they no-shield a Zap Cannon and they die here, but that's really unlikely. But in this game, they no-shield. They no-shield the Zap Cannon, and that's a game win. That's crazy. I was not expecting to win that game there. Next game, we're going to be leading Belly Bolt into Seismitoad. I'm going to instantly safe swap into Corviknight. Corviknight's going to be able to really just not take any damage from those mud shots. In comes the Tentacruel, and Tentacruel is going to take some super effective damage here. Sand attacks are going to add up, especially after boosting myself up with that air cutter. Can I get a second boost? Can I? Please? Nope. Okay, I can't get a second boost, but that's fine. That's pretty good. Okay, Scald lands. So what? It doesn't get the debuff here. That's amazing for me, and I almost able to get to the payback, but I can't quite reach it, and I'm gonna have to settle for the air cutter here. My opponent's gonna be able to fire off a move. This is gonna be the Scald. Scald will be shielded. It drops our defense, unfortunately, and I'm gonna go for air cutter after farming up a lot of energy here. Will it knock out? I think it will. No, it won't. Okay, no, it won't. That's fine, because I'm gonna go for the second air cutter here. Will this pressure away the shield? Yes, it will. And at this point, Corviknight's just done its job. It has gotten us shield advantage, and also the Tentacruel is very low, so I'm going to send in Dondozo. Dondozo is going to be able to clean up that matchup. In comes the Seismitoad. Are they weak to Dondozo in the back? I think so, because Seismitoad does not have a good matchup into Dondozo, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm not 100% sure. But they're forced to go for Earth Powers, which kind of limits their pacing to a 6656 second pacing. I'm going to be able to fire off the Surf, but not before they get to a move here. This is Icy Wind, so I just let it go, and I'm going to farm up 3 more Waterfalls and go for the Surf. Surf is going to land, and it will pick up Knockout. Easy knockout there, they're really low. And in comes their final Pokemon, which is a Zygarde. So I am debuffed, but let's see how much Outrage does. It does, well, quite a decent amount, honestly. And I'm going to shield this up. I think I can get to the next Outrage, and I think I win CMP against Zygarde. Zygarde is a really defense-based Pokemon, just a really bulky Pokemon that's able to absorb everything. So I'm going to go for the second Outrage. This will get them really low, and oh, Belly Bolt's just going to be able to clean up this game. Zygarde is very, very bulky, but it does not have a lot of charge move or fast move pressure. It does not have a lot of damage output, so that's game win. Belly Bolt into non-Shadow Ape in the next game. This is a fairly neutral matchup here. They're going to be able to go for the move first. This could be close combat, is it? It is close combat, because they're staying in and they're firing off the move right as they get it. So I'm just expecting them to go for the debuff Newt. They no shield, knowing they can survive that parabolic and safe switch into Tinkaton. I'm going to answer with a Corviknight. Corviknight has a lot of fast move pressure because of those sand attacks. The best case scenario here is if I get at least a boost, I think then I'd be able to win this matchup really comfortably. Okay, first one does not get the boost. Second one, please get the boost. Okay, we get the boost. Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to have a pretty good matchup here. I'm going to shield this. Gigaton Hammer is not going to pick up knockout from this range. Gets us pretty low though. Can I get to the... Yes, I can. I can get to payback, but I'm going to fire off Air Cutter. Hopefully they shield this. Hopefully they want to preserve their Tinkaton. Okay, they just no shield and they send in Ape. So Ape is going to take a lot of damage from this Air Cutter. Air Cutter is going to be shielded. Of course, second Air Cutter, it's also going to be shielded. If they shield once, they're going to shield twice. Yes, they will. And I'm going to send in Belly Bolt here. A bit of lag, and that's absolutely fine. I don't think that affected anything. I might have not gotten the sneak, but that's absolutely fine. Can I get the full farm down? Close to it. I'm going to commit to farm down, shield this up. I think they're 1 away. No, they're 2 away, and I survive on 1 HP. I have a Zap Cannon loaded if they don't send in the Tinkaton, but they send in Tinkaton, and this Parabolic Charge will pick up Knockout. In comes their final Pokemon. It's going to be a Talonflame. And that's just GG's for my opponent. Dondozo just has a really, really dominant matchup into Talonflame. Look at those Incinerates. That's 2 Incinerates, by the way. That's 2. Those Incinerates look like they just tickled Dondozo. And I'm able to fire off this Surf. Surf is going to pick up the knockout. And that's GG. Okay, so Dondozo. Yeah. I mean, bulk. He's the definition of bulk in the Ultra League. Also, there's Cresselia, but like, and Armor Mewtwo, but like, Dondozo's probably the cheapest bulky Pokemon there is. Armor Mewtwo is just way too rare. Cresselia just takes 100,000 Stardust and 100 candies to double move. And Cresselia is also a legendary, so it's gonna be hard to get those candies. Dondozo, on the other hand, it's a normal Pokemon. It's still hard to get because it's only available in field research and raids, but it is relatively cheaper, and it's 75,000 Stardust for the double move. Now, it is cheaper, but that also means there's some extra downsides to it. And that downside is that it does not have a lot of pressure. Whether it's fast move or charge move, it really just doesn't put pressure on your opponent. And this bulk is what makes Dondozo actually decent in the Zero Shields against like Talonflame, but its inflexible moveset being Waterfall, Surf, and Outrage also means it really can't hit other water types. And water types, oh my god, they're really common. There's Jellicents, there's Empoleons, there's Feraligators, and they all just dominate the Ultra League. And that's kind of what makes Dondozo so, I guess, not popular. It's not meta. But it definitely is a cool Pokemon, and I would recommend using it. It's really fun to play. And yeah, that kind of sums it up for this video. So, I'll see you in the next video. And yeah, bye.